Taco, hey, what's up, guys? This is the YNL podcast. This is Fiso Tamati.
Yeah,
welcome. Okay, so, sister, how have you been? How's life?
Life is good.
Okay.
Life is good. I had a good day today.
Okay, what happened?
My mom called and my sister and we had a chat.
Okay, about?
They were having some nice Sunday course.
Okay.
And I was not there to have it with them.
Ish.
And my sister made some nice desserts.
Okay.
And I missed out.
What dessert? Specific, sister, specifics.
Apple crumble.
What's that? Okay.
So apple crumble is like you cut apples.
Okay.
People who know the recipe shouldn't judge me. I'm speaking of memory of what I saw. You cut
what you
apples.
saw, not what you did.
Not what I did.
Okay.
I've never done it
You've
before.
never done it.
Nah,
Okay.
no, I haven't.
Okay.
You cut apples, you boil them. So you take off the skin and then you boil them, right? And then you take flour, you mix with eggs, but you try to make the thing like to crumble and stuff. Right, and then you put the onions. Come on, stay with me. Put the apples there. Put the flour and everything bakes.
Okay.
Basically, the top part must be very crusty.
The top part must be crusty.
Yeah, hence crumble. It has to crumble. So when you cut it, the apples are there. Everything's just mixed off so nicely.
Do they bake it or?
Yeah, they do. You put it on the oven and then it bakes. It's very nice. And you add cinnamon. I forgot that part. Cinnamon makes it very nice. Yes.
How do you know that is what makes it very nice?
Because I can taste it. I can taste the cinnamon in the
Like you made it sound as if like, okay, that's the ingredient that really makes things.
No, it doesn't make things, but it has that kick, you know. It's like when you eat something and there's that one flavor that really kicks in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like you're someone that likes cooking. Like there's a certain glow in your eyes, right?
I do.
What's your relationship?
Food.
Okay, me, I love eating, but you seems like you actually like the aspect of cooking and stuff and not what.
I find it very therapeutic. Cooking for me is very therapeutic.
Why?
Because I get to serve people.
Okay.
Which I enjoy. I enjoy taking care of people.
Okay.
And I enjoy them having nice meals, nice food. So for me, it's very... What do you find therapeutic?
Do black people do therapy?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
okay.
we do have,
I
African psychologists, so I guess they do.
African psychologists, like, do they practice
like
African
people.
psychology or?
No, there's African spirituality and psychology, which is interesting.
Okay,
but
that's
we're
some
not
weird
there.
stuff. We're not there. We're not there. But yeah,
we are not
if I'm coaching, I think I just find something else to do until like maybe I'll edit stuff and not video editing and stuff. But that's just for me to get my mind off things. Working because like just staying and being depressed and stuff doesn't really help. But my issue with you, can I say it's an issue? It's like, okay, sometimes you should be getting things done, but you're like, let me just go cook. Does it help?
It does help.
It does help.
Yeah, it sets my mind at ease. I'm like, okay. Whenever I'm cutting the onion, I'm like, yes.
Okay.
So with every chop, there's a yes there.
With every chop,
with
okay.
Every chop, I'm like, yes. By the time I'm done, I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay. So somehow, like, it's interesting that, okay, your sister cooks. Your sister cooks nicely.
Yeah, she does.
You have 5 mothers.
Yes, wow. Oh my
mothers.
goodness. Yes, I do.
Yes. And do all your 5 mothers cook nicely? We are not going to say names. We are not going to say names. But do all your 5 mothers cook nicely?
Yes. There's one in particular who does.
Who cooks especially nicely.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
I look up to her when it comes to cooking. Yeah. Like, I look up to all of them. But the one who cooks them.
Okay. So I don't know if this is weird because today's topic. So today we're gonna be discussing feminism and femininity and the crisis of
femininity.
Femininity or femininity?
Femininity.
How do you spell it?
Why would you Feminity. Femininity. Something is missing there. Yeah, femininity. That's how you say it.
Okay, I saw a different spelling. I saw one with a different spelling. But yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we what is feminism? Because before, like you asked me a question with, okay, how come there's masculinity, and how they define the masculinity is very different to how they define feminism. Yeah, it's like, okay, so masculinity is about this. So you define masculinity, and then you define feminism, and you found issue. And I was like, maybe feminism is something else. And yeah, so please tell us.
So before I even get to that,
Okay.
I read a very funny quote that got my mind thinking. It says, "Well-behaved women
Okay.
really make history."
Okay.
And I was like, Kaibo, is it because they are well-behaved? And what does well-behaved mean? Is it women who go by the rules, who listen to men? Because whenever you think about feminism and femininity, if someone says I'm a feminist, already there's that look, you know. I think the word, forgive me, the word feminist carries a lot of weight, you know, and it's not, it doesn't sound good. Whenever you say I'm a feminist, people are like, my goodness. So for me, when I used to hear about feminism and being feminine, I think that's the word, feminine, I always associated with being soft, gentle, you know, you are a nurturer. So for me, it was always those nice, soft meanings. But I find people who see feminism as women who hate men, as people who are there to be like, we're standing for our rights and we don't need men. And in checking the masculinity, which are the attributes of men, and what makes a man, something like that. It has to do with qualities and attributes. And then femininity, it had to do with the advocacy of human rights.
No, that's feminism.
Is it feminism or femininity?
Feminism is about the advocating for equal rights between men and
women. And then femininity is the same as masculinity, but as women. Yes. Yeah. So feminism is the advocacy of the fighting of women's rights. But they say sexes. So it's as if, although they're feminists, they're fighting for men and women. Because I've heard men who are pro-feminist. Yeah. Because they're now it's interesting. Yes, it's as if the meaning has moved away from women to encompass everyone. It's like, you know, we're just fighting for everyone now. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that the meaning or the definition of feminism has somehow...
The theory of feminism has changed over the years.
Yeah.
So has the definition of atheism and stuff. So it seems like people are trying to accommodate like the different social ills that are taking place in society. And I think like the thing that you highlighted, that's well-behaved women.
Yes, really make history. I was like,
wow. There's also like so I don't think it's necessarily about being a well-behaved woman, because there's another quote that says, "Good men don't make history, great men do."
What does that mean?
So like Hitler was not a good man,
but he was great.
But he was a great man. I'm not advocating for Hitler, but he was above average. And usually people who are above average, so I can be a good man, I can be a well-behaved man, but I can barely make history. So it's not something about your sex and stuff, but it is about. So
okay. No, you're right. Yeah. You made me think, because it's like, it's not about being a man or a woman. But over the time or the course of history, we have seen that when it comes to politics, when it comes to economy, when it comes to, you know, big issues, it has wow. It has always been about the gender.
Who are you trying to call, sister?
No one! Come on!
You don't have that time. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. It's just jokes.
Over the course of history, when it comes to politics and economy, you have I lost my train of thoughts, but I'll find them. It has been about gender and sex. It has been about, is it a woman? Is it a man? And men have been seen as those people who are dominating. I don't think the theory of, because of patriarchy.
What's that?
It is patriarchy. Is it the dominating of? Yes. I remember the definition. Patriarchy is the dominating of men in society.
Yes.
Because I don't remember.
Okay. Okay. Okay, is the patriarchy a bad thing? Is God a patriarch?
It depends on how you look at it.
Is God a patriarch?
And he's God.
He's God.
He's God now.
He would we say, if we were to use the divine order, that there's a divine order, that there's a sex that must submit, and for a sex to submit, there must be one that dominates.
Most definitely, yes.
So God has taught us a patriarchal system.
Yes.
And we are like, we don't want the patriarchy.
Well,
off with the patriarchy. That's what you're saying. We don't want no patriarchal
what I am
system.
saying is,
Okay.
patriarchy is not bad.
Okay.
It's not a bad thing.
Okay.
It's not. However, I think the problem is that women see men as dominating as if it's a bad thing. Like they don't have their own role to play. They understand, like they can't do anything because they are oppressed by men.
Okay.
Of which, to a larger extent, I agree because of a book I read that's called Nervous Conditions by Tsitsi Dangarambe. She's from Nigeria. It's a good book. It's a novel that talks about Temu, a young girl who lives in
it's not that much hard. We're gonna be shipping stuff. We're gonna be shipping stuff.
So this girl grows up in a village. You know, they're not well off. They come from humble beginnings, right?
Okay.
And they have a mother and a father who don't have much. But in the family, there's Ubaba Mukuru and there is Nyasha.
Oh.
And yes.
Nah, we have cleaned this episode.
I'm glad you are clean this episode. Thank you for being
clean.
And in that other family, they are rich. So they take Utemu and they take her to school and she starts learning, right? And they feel as if she's being westernized, right?
Okay.
Which comes with the idea of feminism, because people think that the theory of feminism is a Western thing. It's Western culture.
Okay.
And you come into Africa and girls don't do that. Girls obey men. Men must lead and all of that. So in the story, there's a patriarch. I just forgot his name. But the man is educated. He went to a mission school. He's Catholic. And he's like, you know what, you should also study and so that you can help at home. But she goes from helping at home to actually starting to have her own ideas of what it means to be a woman, of feeling like I'm being oppressed and I don't want this anymore. And I should stand up for my mother because when they used to dish up, men should eat first and the woman must come after. So now she started to see this as like, no, this is wrong. We should all eat at the same time, you know, feminists fighting for equal rights for both men and women now. But back then they felt as if we need to have our own space as women. And I don't mean to be everywhere, but I found an interesting theory about feminism. There's a feminism theory that talks about the liberal feminists, the Marxist feminists, and the radical, which is the one we are facing now. Yeah.
What's your point?
My point is, because there's a spectrum in feminism, I stand with the liberal ones.
Okay, what are the liberal ones?
The liberal ones are just saying we want to have space.
But
we want to be acknowledged.
You avoided my question because when we started,
the
the thing that made us highlight, you raised a point that when it came to politics, when it came to many things,
women were sidelined.
Women were sidelined. And
I
asked you a question: why?
Why are they?
Why?
Well,
Why was it like we don't want women in the workplace, or was that something that as more people spoke about rights, then that's when those ideas began to develop?
I think.
And do you think? Let me ask you this: when it came to like these things of like equal rights and stuff, are we also acknowledging equal responsibilities and stuff?
Most definitely.
During the times of Shaka Zulu, also the women go to war.
No, we have different roles to play. We have different roles to play that balance us.
Exactly.
If we both go to war, then who's gonna stay behind?
So why, when it comes to the world of work, there's no difference then?
How so? What do you mean the world? Okay, you mean that when men used to go to war, that was their form of work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was their responsibility as the protectors. Not
exactly,
only
as protectors. It has nothing to do with providing.
sister.
It's not like when they went to
How-
war and
how-
fight,
how-
they came. Okay, well, they did.
How
they
will
did come
you?
back with some.
How will you go exactly?
They
Yes,
did come
yes,
back
they
with
did come
cows
back
and all
with-
of that.
with stuff.
But you're telling me that's the only thing?
Listen. If people have attacked us,
Yes.
and let's say you are married and they take you, the Jews from the other tribe come and take you and rape you. What is there for me to protect if I am someone else's slave? What is there for me to so I must be able to protect my stuff so that I can have decent work.
In the
I think
same
the problem
vein,
now.
in the
I
same
think that-
vein,
allow me
if-
to finish
okay.
now. I think the problem that we have now is that we are enjoying peace, and we do not acknowledge what actually happened for us to have this peace. The sacrifices that people made. Many people now, when you look at like all the things that have been built by gents, then we're gonna be like, I. We also want to work in that office, what.
Is it
And I'm
wrong
not
though?
acknowledging. I'm not denying that. But
What
were
are you
you
saying?
were you willing to also, before mines were safe, also go down to the mines and also be.
If it comes to a push, yes.
If it comes to a
If
push,
it does come to a Are
You
you
said
willing,
if.
as a man, are you willing to stay behind and take care of the kids and cook for the kids and make sure that the kids are fine and everything in the home is well taken
is
care
that
of
the
as a
divine
man?
order?
No, that's the balance that comes
Which
with it.
balance?
So,
What are we
if as a
balancing?
man, if you go out and work,
Sure.
right, and I stay at home,
Yeah,
taking
that's a balance.
That's a balance.
Sure.
So, if you guys went to war as men to fight,
Yes.
women stayed behind
Yes.
to take care of
Okay,
the household and
okay,
everyone
okay.
else.
So if the roles I'm taking a question and I'm placing it back to you.
Okay.
If the roles were flipped, would you be like, okay, I will go to war and this man will stay behind? That's the husband you would marry.
Definitely not.
Exactly.
So what is your
My point
in
is
all
that
of
there are
this?
specific roles. There are certain things
And
that are expected from
agree
men.
with
But
you.
it seems like modern feminism wants to strip men of their manhood.
That's
and
the
be like,
radical
stay
feminism.
at home and take care of the kids. We don't care if you provide. I will provide. So you are wearing the pants of the family.
How am I doing that? Because
Because
I already
and that-
stated to you. No, I already know.
Paul even
Wait,
highlights
don't be
that
a Jordan
man-
Peterson to
Okay.
me. Listen, I already stated that I am a liberal feminist.
What does that
Who
mean?
is saying to men that we want to be acknowledged?
You are acknowledged.
How so? Because now, you see, back in the day, especially with the novel, I'm using novel as a reference here, because Utem was not allowed to see herself as someone who would do, for example, this is not in the book, as someone who would be in architecture, or even with the jobs that they had, they were limited.
Sure.
You can't be an engineer. You
Sure.
can't be in construction.
Sure.
Says who? Why can't she be there?
Yeah. Okay. So what I am seeing is that, because my idea, my perspective of feminism,
Yes.
it is people fighting against the wrongs that were done against women. I'm not sure if you get it. So
Please rephrase.
yeah.
Please say.
So men mistreated women.
Yes.
And then women are like, off with this nonsense.
Yes.
Off with this nonsense.
Yes.
And as they rebelled against the nonsense that men did.
I love the fact that you say nonsense.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nonsense.
Okay, cool.
As men rebelled against
The nonsense that was done.
yeah,
against
as women rebelled against
Yes.
the nonsense that was done against them,
Yes.
they also rebelled against the divine order.
But you do understand. This is nice because it goes back to
Listen,
the Bible.
listen.
It's very,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
Because
I'm not wait.
even
Allow me,
Adam,
wait,
this is
wait.
I'm
Allow me to
loving
learn.
this.
Allow
What?
me to learn. Allow
Okay.
me to learn. So Jesus Christ,
Yes.
Jesus Christ, the example that he put forth.
Yes.
The example that he put forth, and I think we'll discuss this in detail.
Yes.
But the example that he puts forth, he showed like what kind of men that cheaters were to be.
Yes.
Nah? But and we see a lot of things that okay, it's true that you can be what you can be under the law, even under which example can I use?
Under authority.
David was under King Saul. Saul was a horrible king.
Yes.
But he never raised his fist against Saul.
Okay.
And so we understand what's okay. There's a certain level of nonsense that Saul was doing.
Yes.
But because David feared God, he didn't raise his hand or raise his fist.
I have so much to say.
So Manje, it seems like women I'm not saying that what men did is
good,
but I'm saying that the response or the solution that women came up with is that okay, this is nonsense. Then okay, let me use an example. Which is feminist thought, and tell me if this is okay.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think it was in Beyonce's song. Tell me if this is okay. Tell me if this is okay.
Yes.
Nah. So I think was it Flawless? I'm not sure.
Run the world.
Not sure. Yeah, we run the world. Girls.
See,
I'm not sure. Oh, you even know it. Yeah. So what happened is that one lady, I don't know which lady it was. She was like, how come gents are allowed to sleep around? How come gents can chop and chop and chop and chop and chop and chop and chop? That's an old one. And then their solution is that women should also sleep around and chop and chop and chop and chop. I'm like, you have identified the problem. That is true, but the solution is wrong.
Okay.
The problem, it is nonsense that we want boys to be sleeping around and chopping and chopping and chopping.
So why don't you solve it as men? Why are you making it a woman's problem?
Allow me to land. The solution is incorrect. So what do you tell ladies? You do not tell ladies to also live a promiscuous life. No. You solve the boys with the boys. This is wrong. Mm-hmm. But feminism, hey ladies, behave like men instead of solving what is wrong with the gents. That is my problem with the thing. The problem is with the gents. The gents have been doing nonsense. Mm-hmm. Let us solve this nonsense that the gents are doing. Mm-hmm. Not to tell girls to behave against the.
You know what's nice about what you're saying? I would like to give an example of a house. If as a man in your own house, right, you say to people, do this and do this, and then the foundation that you laid, you don't follow it, and you start doing the very same things that you're telling them not to do. Do you think? That. No, I am saying that men are put as heads.
Okay, so I can't believe you said, I'm a liberal feminist, and you even danced.
I subscribe. Okay, let me rephrase. I am not a feminist. Okay. However,
so you don't
advocate
for equal rights between men and women?
I mean, we should be.
Then you are a feminist.
We should. I mean, why are we even fighting
it? Don't deny. But now I'm Christian, so I won't. Yeah.
Just feel okay.
Okay.
I remember the song.
So I guess there's someone that can help us in this. So I don't know which stance you're taking, but this is Gladys. Gladys, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Gladys, and my name is Gladys, and I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a feminist, but I agree with certain ideologies feminists have.
Which ones?
Okay, for one, I do believe that men and women should have equal rights.
Okay.
And there's a lot, but the thing is, the problem with feminism today is that it's more of hating men. It's sidetracking from what it initially was.
Okay.
So that's my problem with feminism. That's why I'm not exactly one. I'm just in the middle. I agree, but at the same time, I oppose certain ideologies they have.
Okay, so which ones? Like, break them down, because you also break them down. Because you're saying, okay, I am not a feminist, but I subscribe
to liberal feminism.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe now. Don't forget to subscribe now. Okay, you're being serious. So you said you subscribe.
I subscribe.
You agree with some of the stuff. Okay, which ones? I want specifics.
Okay.
I want what?
Okay, specifics.
Yes.
So, like, the start of feminism began in the late 1900s, if I'm not mistaken. It was like the first wave.
Okay.
So it had to do with equal rights in voting and property owning, because it didn't make sense for everybody to be considered a citizen of a country.
Yes.
Mostly, this happened mostly in the western side, America and the likes. So it didn't make sense for myself as a woman to be considered a citizen, but I have no say in what happens in the country I live in.
Okay.
So the first wave happened, and then women got rights and the like. And then the second wave happened, to my understanding, as a result of the post-World War II, because remember, before the Second World War, it was women should be at home, women, kids, and all of that. Sure. But when the World War began, all the men went to war. And now
all the what?
No, listen. Okay, sure. I'm getting my points across.
Okay, sure.
I'm getting my points across. So now all the men are gone, everybody's dying, they can't send the woman to war, so they expect the woman to cover up the fields men were working in the industrial field, the farming and all of that. So women are no longer in the kitchen. They now know that, okay, I have to provide for my country and I have to provide for my family as well. Post-war, in the 1950s, it's Boma, okay, the war's over. Everybody back to the kitchen. Everybody back to having kids. Everybody get back to getting married and stuff. So now they expect women to go back to that whole, no, women belong in the kitchen bubble. Then that's when the second wave happened, because it's like, now it's fueling.
You've tasted the
you've tasted the freedom, yes. And now you
The
expect
freedom
us to.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Is being a trad wife, that's what they call them, traditional wife.
Oh, okay.
Is a trad wife or a traditional wife, are trad wives oppressed? That is my question. Is that a form of oppression?
To my understanding, I think it's like a very subjective thing.
Okay.
Because some women are traditional wives because of the cultural society or the cultural ideology they have and the society they live in. So they have no choice but to be traditional wives. But if we're talking about the likes of Nara Smith, there are many of them, but she's the one I know the most. Yeah. She chooses to be a traditional wife.
Okay.
If she had the choice to leave, she could, because she's a model on the side. She could drop everything and then go back to being a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
But in the Western context, being a traditional wife is more of a choice than it is in, let's say, the Middle East and Africa. Yeah.
Okay, so would you say that these roles, because if we take many of the things that are happening in the Western context, many of the things, they are liberal. I think there was a campaign, I don't know who did it, the Free the Nipple campaign.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
I've heard of it.
Free the Nipple campaign.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How come can gents show their nipples? Let the ladies also show their nipples.
Why are the men showing their nipples to begin with? Why? Why are they showing their nipples? Why?
Because they're gents.
Just because they're gents?
That's the society we're living in. You see, I like your question. So if you see, I like your train of thoughts. I like your train of thoughts. So why are gents showing their nipples? We should tell the gents not to show their nipples. Mm-hmm. But what does liberality say? Let the ladies also show their nipples.
Where did they say that?
That's the Free the Nipple campaign.
Things I don't know about this campaign. I'm shocked to think that men want their nipples to be shown. Why?
Like this, we were in a state of crisis. Yeah. It is a war. Yeah. Nah? So there was. I'm not saying that women should not be given the freedom to explore the gifts that God has given them, and I'm not saying that they should be chained to play roles that God did not necessarily want them to play. But now the question is that when we look at Genesis chapter 1, from verse 26 to 28, God highlighted that He made man in His image and likeness, and then to do what? To have dominion over the beasts of the earth, over the birds of the air, over the fish. And what else? For them to be fruitful and for them to multiply. Yes. So there we find that God created man to have human beings, to have a special relationship with Him. And when they have that special relationship with Him, so the husband was to have a special relationship with God, the wife was to have a special relationship with God, and then they were to unite. We get that in Genesis chapter 2. And then they were to build a family, and they were to populate the world with people who are made in the image and likeness of God. So that was in the family context, whereby that the father provides the direction, he corrects the major things, and then the mother corrects the minor things. But it seems like in our society, that original purpose of discipling children for God, so that they will look like God, is something that we disregard. We say, go be an engineer. Why have children? Go be an engineer, go be an astronaut, So it seems like motherhood or being a mother is not something that Western society places on a pedestal, but liberality, free the nipple. That is what.
You know what's nice? Can I interject?
Sure.
I love the fact that he used the Bible and he went from Genesis 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2, but not 3, the fall of man, right?
Sure.
So you do know that Adam was supposed to disciple Eve, right?
Okay.
Eve was under him, right? When they sinned, God came into their midst, and he asked them. He first asked Adam as the head,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And what did Adam say? It's the wife that you gave me. I get.
Okay.
And then the wife was
Was
the
he lying?
snake, and
Was
then
he
they
lying?
lost. No, he
Oh,
was
okay.
not. But what I'm trying to point out is that men have lost their dominion as men, right? So in the example, Eve is the one who's under Adam, right? And Adam, instead of being like, okay, a mistake has happened, he does not own up to it and shifts it to the woman. As much as he's not lying, he does not acknowledge the leadership that he has as a man. That's why we're here today.
That's why we are here today, because
Yes,
he didn't own up to
because
his mistake.
Men don't own up to their mistakes.
No,
You
no,
see,
no.
prior to
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
prior to this, you need to, no,
sister,
you're gonna hear me out, my
no,
brother.
sister.
Prior to this, you said that men were doing nonsense,
Wait,
and we
wait,
agreed,
wait.
right?
Let me
And you
ask you
said
this,
that
let me
women
ask you
should
this.
not be promiscuous,
Okay.
right? You did it. Did you say that?
Sister,
I want you to agree or disagree. Did you say that?
sister,
Did
I did. My question is, are you saying that the fall of man was because Adam did not own up to his mistake? Is that what you're saying? We are here because Adam did not own up to his mistake. Is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm saying?
Not because they ate from the forbidden fruit.
They both ate
Yeah,
now.
we are not here. We are here because Adam did not own up to his mistake, not because they both ate from the forbidden fruit.
That's why even in the New Testament
Okay, so
it says
wait,
that because of the fall of one man,
let me
Jesus
ask you
Christ
this.
had to come
Wait,
back
let me ask
to
you this.
restore
Okay,
men
I get
into their
that. That is true,
position
that is true.
that they
So,
lost.
wait.
How is it Eve's fault?
Let me ask you this. So if Adam, after eating from the forbidden fruit, said, yes, it is my fault, we wouldn't be sinners.
No, we would have.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have changed anything. It's not a matter. It's not a matter.
about
No,
owning
listen.
up.
Exactly.
It's about the sin.
No, but in this regard, in my argument with you, it's a matter of leadership, knowing who you are and owning up to it.
Yes, that's
If we
an
live in a
aspect of
house,
it.
and
Sure.
in the kitchen, mom knows that I'm in charge of the things that happen in the kitchen. Whatever mistake that happens, I am liable of it,
Sure,
right?
that's
So
true.
if she comes and she's like, Onele, who ate mangoes, for example? And I'm like, Mama Sfiso ate. And it's like, who's in charge? Who is supposed to overlook this?
yes.
So now, in the
Yes,
example,
I'm not denying that. I'm not
What are
denying
you
that.
saying?
What I'm saying is that you said that Adam lost dominion because he did not own up. I'm saying that's his fault. He lost dominion because he sinned against God. Because authority is derived from God.
and
by him
was he
rebelling-
not under? Was he not in the position of being in authority at that time?
His authority, the
And-
authority that he was supposed to exercise was like, women, stop that nonsense. Don't eat from that tree.
And he did it.
He didn't. Exactly. That's why he lost dominion. Not because he did not own up to sin. Do you have a different take?
No,
It's heated, right?
I hear both sides, and I do agree to a certain certain
Extent.
degree, because it's like the example she gave,
Sure.
it's very practical, because regardless of who made a mistake, when you are put in charge over something, you are the one who has to answer for it, regardless of who made the mistake.
Yes.
But I also hear his chat that it's not because he did not own up to it, it's because of the sin. So
I'm not
Basically,
against the fact that
what
he's
I'm
saying
saying-
it's sin, right? But that's not the discussion here. That's not the point. Sin comes after everything. But the fact that he didn't own up to his leadership is what I am highlighting. But we can continue.
Wait. For the mango example.
You like the mango example?
Okay, highlights. Continue, sorry.
oh no, that was
Okay, for the mango example, if I'm the one who, my mom said that we should be guarding everyone, and people should not eat the mangoes, and people shouldn't do their nonsense, and then I'm here, and then Onede, my younger sister, comes and eats the mangoes and says, Sfiso, come, let's eat the mangoes, and then I join her, of course, and then when mom comes through and says that, who ate the mangoes? And I was like, Onede made us eat the mangoes. Then I should have taken responsibility. But as the leader, When she starts eating the mangoes, it's like, stop that nonsense.
You know what I love about what you're saying is that you acknowledge the fact that Adam failed.
He
in his
failed.
leadership.
He
That's
failed.
good.
He
We can
failed.
do. Then
He
if we
failed.
agree,
He
we
failed.
both agree, then that's good.
Yeah, but don't say that is what made him lose dominion. He lost dominion by sinning against God.
That is true.
Yes.
I'm not against
so,
that.
Yeah, so the problem with, if we say that men have a problem right now, the curse of current men is that they lost the authority that is from God. And what do? They now oppress ladies. And as they oppress ladies, then they are treating ladies in a manner which was not, which God did not describe, which God did not intend.
So now the
So
question
now
is,
the
what should
women,
women do?
so now women, instead of responding to the situation in a way that God wants them to respond to the situation as, they respond it like, so. I'll use David. David is the perfect example.
Yes.
This is an evil king that is over me.
Yes.
How do I respond? Do I kill him?
No.
No, that's not the way. You submit to God's will. And so on.
Yes.
So now God has a way. Jesus Christ submitted to the point of death.
Yes.
To the point of what? Death. They killed him. So he humbled himself to that point, even though that entire judicial system, that court hearing, it was unfair, totally unfair. But he was like, I will take the way of the cross. I will take the way of submitting to God's will. And women, because it's not only gents who fail. Gents, they oppress women, which is evil. I will not say that is okay. But rebellion is also evil.
So what must happen
Yes,
now?
like I do hear that, ne?
Sure.
But the problem is, you know right from wrong. You had millennia as gents, like you said, like women should not respond the way they are doing. It's the men who are supposed to fix the problem. You had millennia to fix this issue and you don't. So now when women are responding the way they do, you suddenly have a problem.
Exactly.
Suddenly.
You have a problem.
Okay,
so you see, you agree. What she's saying is
Okay.
that you agree
Okay.
that men oppress women, right? But you don't agree with the rebellion that they are doing. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're highlighting.
Yeah. So
Okay,
let me ask you
yes.
this: for millennia, would you say that prostitution has been wrong?
It has been wrong, always.
Can it ever be okay?
It
No.
can never be okay.
So if I have a problem with prostitution, am I wrong?
No. We all have a problem with prostitution.
No, not all of us.
Okay.
There are acts that are being passed in this country and other Western countries that say prostitution must be legalized because female prostitutes are being exploited. If the law does not protect prostitutes, then that is unfair. And that is like, we must protect the rights of prostitutes because that is also a form of work.
Don't you think that instead, what you're saying is correct? I agree with you 100%. People who do prostitution, it's women. In most cases, it's women, although men also do it. But now it's as if these women go around there showing their bodies and they're just doing it by themselves. It's as if men are not involved in all of this. Men are the ones who go and buy it. So why don't you sit men down and tell them that you going around and wanting to sleep with, you going around having a problem with lust is an issue.
Sister, I think.
No, I'm just saying that in your speaking, you're addressing promiscuity in women, which is good. You are right. However, you are not acknowledging the fact that men go out there and buy.
I think if there was
if men were not buying, do you think women would be still going out and showing off their bodies?
I think if there was a certificate for missing the point, you would get it for real. Because that was not my point.
What was your point?
My point was that our society right now, our society as it stands, it seems to be more liberal than conservative.
Okay.
And Gladys was highlighting that men have been evil for a very long time, and women are now rebelling against this evil of men. No? And then now suddenly I have this problem because this evil that has been taking place for a long time, now women are rebelling against it. I am saying that it's true that men were evil for a long time. Prostitution has been wrong for a long time. How I respond to the wrong of prostitution should not be also a wrong way. For example, there are gents.
I want you to know how is the right way of responding to the situation.
if there are gents that are against lesbians, and their response to lesbians is that they rape them, is that a proper response to?
No.
No.
So if there's a girl who's been molested and raped for a very long time, and she's the victim in that family, and then because of whatever she's going through, she decides to act back and probably fights for her life and unintentionally kills the man, is she wrong?
Unintentionally fights for her life. You're emotionalizing this. Why are you emotionalizing it?
Carry on.
No. Why are you making this emotional?
It is emotional. Being oppressed is not something that happens
No,
on
we're
a
speaking
rock.
about
It
rights.
is,
We're speaking about,
but it has emotions
we were
on
speaking
it.
about political rights, going to the workplace.
But you do understand that these political rights affect people who do have emotions.
Yeah.
It's not like it's happening on rocks or people who don't have emotions.
Yeah.
So you can't
No.
take
Why
that as if it's not something that's happening to people.
So if a dude is being raped, if a boy child is being raped,
Irregardless of whether
and
it's a
he's-
boy and a girl, it is wrong.
Yeah,
It
so
is bad.
that
It is
outside-
diabolic. It's
that
not
is
supposed to
outside the
happen.
topic. That is outside the topic that we are discussing.
Put us in the topic.
Yeah. So what we are discussing is about women rights, feminism, and femininity, and your views. And you said that you were taking a middle ground, and you were hearing my point and her point, and there were certain ideologies that you do not agree with. My sister is mad at me. So there are certain things that you do not agree with, and it seems like we spoke more than we allowed you to share your opinion. So
We are not like this.
we are not always like this. So I think this topic is a heated one.
Yeah.
So for you to like bring us back, because it's very easy to focus on the emotional aspects. And it's true that in a country like South Africa, there's much gender-based violence. There's femicide and stuff. But now we are speaking about okay, what is the crisis of femininity and feminism, and how the two, do you know femininity?
Femininity is like, I'm butchering the definition,
Butcher
but
it.
it's like the attributes that make a woman a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So does feminism change women from being, does it affect their femininity in a certain way? And also, which is not really super relevant, but does it aim to strip away men of their masculinity in a sense? And I think when you say that, because my sister is funny, even that this lipstick is like it's changing color. But yeah.
So I do agree with that, because growing up, when you hear a woman, you think mother, caretaker. I don't want to necessarily just box women into, the housekeeping rules, but when I was younger, that's what I always thought of as a woman. Yeah, as a woman. And now with feminism and women trying to entering spaces that have always been male dominated or just for men, it strips that, because it's like, now, okay, when you hear femininity, what do you think about, like, they were, because for the longest time, those specific attributes were just like, okay, this is what women do, this is what men do. So now it's changing, it's becoming very loose, it's losing its meaning.
Okay, so what is a woman?
Okay, a woman. It's a biological female. That's what I
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's where I'm going to stop at.
Okay, so what is femininity?
I think she already said.
What did she say?
She says it's attributes that make a woman. Did you say?
It is, but it has.
Like-
I cannot
like-
just
like-
box it into.
Then it becomes like somewhat biological in a sense. Because what is a woman? An adult human female. And then that's it. So what makes a woman a woman?
I don't.
So what is a...
like
Beyond the biology,
Yeah.
what is a woman? Because now in our society, those things that are traditionally, this is a woman, there's like, nah, So what makes a woman a woman? Besides, because in a different episode I was speaking that okay, the sexual reproductive system is what makes a man a man. But like, what makes a woman a woman?
I think you have to answer first what makes a man a man, since you also subscribe to what we are saying.
I subscribe to what you are saying.
He said in the previous episode, he said what makes a man. You said it's what is his biological what?
I highlighted that there must be a bafana.
Yeah, but did you go any further than that?
Yeah, we did.
What did you say?
You forgot.
No, yes, I did.
You did?
I did. What did you say? Did you go beyond the fact that it's the bafanas?
Yeah, we highlighted that.
Okay, could you please, like, so that I can grasp what you're trying to say about femininity, ne?
I'm saying, if society is now moving away to the things that traditionally made women, so what do we have now that makes a woman a woman?
Now I want to counter that question so that I can fully understand what you're asking. What makes a man in this society?
In this society?
Yes.
That's a very good question.
So are you saying you don't know?
She's not saying she doesn't know, but
you don't understand.
Like
she's picking your brain, basically.
Oh, okay. So what makes a man is I'm going to say it, the sexual reproductive organ.
That's what makes a woman also.
A woman, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
2. So that's the biology. 2. Not everyone that has that sexual reproductive organ can be said it is a man. So because a boy is not a man. A boy is not a man.
Okay, that's true.
Yes.
Hey,
a boy is not
the
a man.
LGBTQ plus community is gonna wait for that part.
A boy is not a man. Now, there are certain we can look at it from an age perspective. It's okay when a boy reaches a certain age, then we can now call him a man.
Yes.
But there are certain things that also in our society that when you begin to do this,
the
when
right
he
of
begins
passage
to provide, he has the capacity to provide for his family. If he does not have that capacity, maybe as a meshanganis, but not the melishanganis, he must have the ability to protect his family and provide a safe space. But which is mostly important, according to me, is that he must be able to provide direction for his family. There must be a vision for his family. He should not just be an organ donor. So, and that vision, the best way to really have that vision is if it comes from God, because you cannot be leading your children to hell.
Sure.
We agree.
So
now you see
what
now
is a woman?
we are submitting to you.
So, to my understanding now, with how you've explained it, I'd say women. I don't want to say anything wrong, but women are mostly known for having a nurturing side to them. It's like a natural instinct. I'm not saying all women, when they see a baby, it's like, oh, I need to, but it's just built in to be nurturing and caring. I don't want to say soft, but soft towards, other human beings. We're more emotional. We're able to sympathize with people and understand where they're coming from. So I guess, as I butcher this, that's what makes a woman a woman. Something like that. I hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm angry. You're asking me what makes a woman a woman.
Yeah.
It's the biological nature. That's what it is.
That's it.
But I know that you are right. When you're born, you're a girl, and then as you grow, those rites of passages that happen, right? That really now tells you, so now you are of age, you have grown, you mature, you're an adolescent, and all of those things.
So what's the difference between a girl and a woman?
Wow. You're asking me, or you're asking us?
I'm asking you.
You're picking the brain. A difference between a woman and a girl. A woman is someone who has sort of matured with the years, like she has grown into a certain age where she can't be called a girl anymore. Yeah, I understand. I mean, I think it has to do with growth in a sense. If you're 15, 16, and then if you're 25, you're no longer as you were when you were younger. Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
I feel like, I mean, to add on to that, it's not only just by physical change as well, it's also about how you grow mentally, your mental capacity, because, not all the time does wisdom come with age. So, yes, you could be 25, but you could still have a girl like mentality. I can't necessarily explain the transitioning between the mentality of a girl and a woman, but you can tell when, okay, yeah, she thinks for someone her age. Yeah.
That's nice.
So are you ladies, girls, women? Is that personal? Just jokes! Okay, guys, so things got heated. Yeah, but okay, sister, what were your main takeaways?
Well, I feel like there's still a lot of I think we need to sit and redo this again, because we went from having a conversation, it was now like more of like a battle of the sexes kind of thing, which was not nice. I mean, there's a message that we really wanted to communicate. So I think like my biggest takeaway is that there's still a lot to talk about, to unpack in a way that makes sense and in a way that is objective.
Okay. Yeah, okay, guys, so things got heated, but let's bring things back to the scriptures. Okay, so when we go to Ephesians chapter 5 from verse 22, so here we see the dynamics. It says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is head of the church, his body, of which he is Savior. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless." So what do we get from there? So that is the original intention, which is Christ is like the best husband you can ever imagine. So now wives, should we say, they're cursed. Unfortunately or fortunately, they have very horrible husbands, very horrible men, fallen beings who have fallen short of the glory of God, and who see their position as heads of the family as something that to oppress women. And that is not only within the family context, it has made its way throughout society, whereby now women are viewed as dominant. But Jesus Christ provides a different example, whereby maybe in today's context they would call him a simp, but there's no simp, I don't know. But he loved the church to the point of even dying. Why? Because the church was in a very messed up situation. We were sinners, deserving of going to hell, being dragged. Let's say Satan was a pimp, and the church was there working for Satan. Was there working for Satan? Like Satan's like, "Hey yo, 10 years, 10 years." Okay, there's a messed up analogy that Dave Chappelle uses, but yeah, the church is like a prostitute out there, sing, and then Jesus Christ like came through and then saved this prostitute and made her clean and made her a virgin and treated her not as something that was to be used, but as someone who was to be loved. And many people are against this message because we have selfish views and selfish perspectives on what the dynamics between women and men are. So now, in order to fight against this wrong view of these evil men that are oppressing women, how do we respond to it? We do not respond in a manner in which God will be pleased with. We respond in a manner which Satan will be pleased with, which causes friction between the sexes. And between me and my dear sister, we ended up showing some friction, and we forgot that love is the answer. Love is the way to go about it. And I was wrong in this situation. And like many gents, we do not see women as God intended them. It's not only gents who are made in the image and likeness of God, but also ladies were made in the image and likeness of God. And the greatest commandment is what? Is to love the Lord with all of our hearts, mind, soul, and strength, and to love our neighbor. Which also means, ladies, as ourselves. But the level is even higher for husbands, especially Christian husbands, that you do not just love your wife as much as you love yourself, but you are to love her as Christ loves the church. Die for her. So lay your pride, lay your ego all on the line. So are you willing to truly be a man who is like God? Or are you still satisfied being like Satan, being an oppressive man? So my solution is that the problem is not fundamentally the different theories that aim to solve this problem. The problem is the human heart. If people turn away from their sins and receive Jesus Christ, then these different dynamics will very much be solved, especially if they take their discipleship to Jesus Christ very seriously. Then you put yourself aside and the relationship between the sexes changes. Are you interested in such a relationship, or do you still want to be like, I'm a man? These ladies will hate you. Okay, they are Christians. Maybe they won't hate. Okay, that peace side.
No, we won't hate you.
That peace side. Yeah.
I'm joking.
So yeah. So yeah. So that's it. So this is an invitation for everyone. Men have been evil, and we cannot deny that. They have oppressed ladies. Let's not deny that. But it's because men have fallen. Women, their response is also a response of people who are also fallen, because it is rebellion and God hates rebellion. What is the answer? The answer is that both need Jesus. Men need Jesus in order to have the capacity to love their wives, and ladies need Jesus in order to have the capacity to submit, because we are all literally messed up. Does that make sense?
Much more sense.
Much more sense.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So let me just.
Yeah,
Yes, I agree.
You sure? Okay, so yeah, that was the YNL podcast. This is Fiso Atamati.
Onelendwana Mbi.
And we out. Danko. we are. Danko.